jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
What's up, guys? We have just done a deal to start a new boxing league with Turkey, who absolutely loves the sport of boxing.
I am very happy today. I give the flag of boxing to the best man who can handle it. He have a tough job now, but I am sure he will be delivering to the people and the fans the magnificent league and get boxing great again.
The model is proven to deliver the fights that the fans want to see. The best will fight the best, and the fighters will continue to move up the rankings and become world champions. We will continue to make announcements on where you can watch and all the rest of the details on the business as we get closer to the launch. I'll see you soon.
What's going on, everyone? Salute. People tend to call you at the last freaking minute when you're trying to do stuff. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. You already know what it is. Let's get down to it. That's my bag. I had to answer a phone call. Thanks for putting in the chat, though. So let's get down to what's actually going on with the sport of boxing. We've been here in Turki Alalshikh for quite some time, right? And at the end of the day, there's changes that's going on economically with this particular sport called boxing. Combat sports in general have changed over the years, but boxing as we know it is going through a drastic economic change. Some can call it global warming, so to speak, but economically, boxing is changing. What does the economy have to do with it? Well, a lot of what boxing has to do with is prize fighting. You have professional combat pugilists, technicians from all walks of life that's coming into the sport to contend for a paycheck, to contend for legacy, to attend their professional job, whether it's full-time or part-time, right? It's some crazy things that's going on in the sport that is going to change forever. If you already heard, Dana White has joined forces with Turki Alalshikh and Nick Khan, the WWE president. This change is not something that's going to be small scale. This is going to be permanent. This restructuring of boxing is going to change the sport as we knew it decades ago into a permanent model structure that we're going to have to get acclimated to because we don't have any other options or alternatives. What does that mean exactly? First of all, let me ask you a question. Who is Turki Alalshikh? For real, who is Turki Alalshikh? Turki Alalshikh, let's just back up a little bit. You remember when Al Heyman was the mystery man, and they say, "Oh, Al Heyman, man, you know he's making the fights. He's this, that, and the other." They used to glorify him for being the ghost, the Grand Poobah, the unseen Grand Poobah. That's what they used to say about Al Heyman. But you want to know something that's full of hypocrisy? The cup runneth over. You have fight fans walking past this table that obviously have spill hypocrisy everywhere. They slipping and falling, and then they ask, "Why are you down there?" "Oh, I was just coming over here, to pour my criticism into the cup too." They've criticized Al Heyman over the years for not knowing who he is. They try to say he was a promoter, manager, advisor, right? But when it comes to Turki Alalshikh, what is he to boxing? All people are doing is, "Oh man, he's making things happen. He's putting the wheels in rotation. He's very much a pilot." Well, hell, he is the airport. He's the controller. He fund the planes. He's everything. He does everything to make sure the navigation is where it's supposed to, the coordinates and all that. Well, let me tell you what Turki Alalshikh is. Turki Alalshikh is a Saudi Arabian advisor at the royal court under the rank of minister and the current chairman of the General Entertainment Authority. All right. He is also a chairman. Okay. Pay attention. He is the chairman of the GEA, the General Entertainment Authority. And also he's the chairman of the ISSF, the Islamic Solidarity Sports Federation. And of course he has other, positions that he holds. But I just wanted to throw that out there. He's a chairman. It says nothing about what he is to boxing. No one titles Turki Alalshikh as being a promoter, a chairman, advisor, manager. You don't hear none of that. But this guy is at fights over here in the U.S. He's in New York as we speak. He was in L.A. He comes and go as he pleases, passport getting stamped. Okay? No problem. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. Nobody's asking what is he to boxing. This is a perfect example on how people can be so quickly taught a lesson without even knowing the curriculum. They have no idea what the curriculum is that Turki Alalshikh is delegating, except that he is a part of royalty. They don't know really what he's doing for boxing. All they know, he making fights and putting on these fight cards. But what is his position in the stronghold of boxing? It's not many people that can tell you. They can give you this long, articulated freaking description on what they believe him to be. But when you look him up, there's nothing there that says promoter, manager, advisor. But it does say chairman. Let me let you listen to something right quick, okay? Listen to this right quick.
What's up, guys? We have just done a deal to start a new boxing league with Turkey, who absolutely loves the sport of boxing.
I am very happy today. I give the flag of boxing to the best man who can handle it. He have a tough job now, but I am sure he will be delivering to the people and the fans the magnificent league and get boxing great again.
The model is proven to deliver the fights that the fans want to see. The best will fight the best, and the fighters will continue to move up the rankings and become world champions. We will continue to make announcements on where you can watch and all the rest of the details on the business as we get closer to the launch. I'll see you soon.
Let's go over the first document. The first document, if you see HE, is for His Excellency, okay? And that's the only time I'm saying it. Turki Alalshikh and TKO announced launch of new boxing promotion in partnership with Sela, which is the conglomerate of Saudi Arabia, right? It says Turki Alalshikh together with TKO Boxing Holdings Incorporated, TKO, a global leader in sports and entertainment, and Sela, a leading entertainment conglomerate, have today announced a multi-year partnership to establish a new boxing promotion that will provide a premier platform for both leading boxers and prospects in the sport. Take note, prospects. So their intentions and the guidance is for newcomers, prospects, go-getters. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be individuals. These boxers will not be as well known as we're used to in the past when it comes to tournaments, when it comes to, just different programs, tournaments that we might have in boxing that includes the high ranking names. This is somewhat the UFC has been used to. They have put this to work. This model has worked for them. It's called the Ultimate Fighter. They have brought these fighters, these up and coming fighters to a house, and they have put on the Ultimate Fighter, and they're there for several weeks with no contact with the outside, and they go through different fights to make it to the end. And then the finals they have on live TV under the UFC model. It goes on to say, speaking on this significant milestone, Turki Alalshikh said, the landmark partnership between industry powerhouses set the stage for an unparalleled experience for boxers and fans. Together, we are developing the next generation of talent and delivering world-class events at a time when the sport is primed for further disruption. Now, listen, look at how they worded that. Do you understand how descriptive that is? How potent? He said, together, we are developing the next generation, okay, of talent. The next generation is not the same banter and same type of entertainment value that we have been used to talking about this fight, that fight. It's totally going to be a whole different chapter in boxing. The entire model is going to be much more structured they're going to be an increased organizational freaking network. The way they're making these fights in the future isn't going to be what we're used to here. You're not going to have fighters thinking they're going to go in here and say, well, I want to negotiate pay-per-view and all that. You're going to be somewhat like ROTC. You're going to be on a structured military type of daily routine when it comes to boxing. The people who you talk to, the language is going to be different. Why? Because all these fighters are going to be under a structure. You only going to get paid a certain amount of money. It doesn't matter who it's going to be one belt. They're trying to phase out everything when it comes to the sanctioning body. We're going to get to that. It says Mark Shapiro, President and Chief Operating Officer, added, this is strategic opportunity to reimagine the sport of boxing globally. TKO has the deep expertise, promotional prowess, and long-standing relationship. Turki Alalshikh and Sailor share our passion and vision for evolving the current model. Together, we can bring the sweet science back to its rightful place in the forefront of the global sport ecosystem. Okay? We're talking about the ecosystem. The ecosystem for boxing and how boxers are flourishing in the sport as we know it will change. Will absolutely change forever. In order for somebody to bring this structure back within the U.S. footprint and be able to moderate it the way it was, you're going to have individuals with deep pockets that's willing to put in the work, sit at the table, put in the work, put their ideas together, converse with each other, make sure they have people that they trust in place. I just don't see it happen because we have a lot of rich people in the U.S., but they're not trying to put themselves into this type of bubble. They're not trying to do this. They're not trying to do it. Dana White, they're already established. I knew when I seen Turki Alalshikh over there, intermingling with Dana White, when I seen President Trump over there, I knew the UFC was about to make big changes. Even though Donald Trump has nothing to do with it, that right there, with whoever you're brushing elbows with, it's going to change the sport forever. Because he's brushing elbows and signing multi-year deals with a conglomerate, with the individual who has the budget, that's not up here talking about I lost enough money, to buy a car here and there. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to hear the complaining anymore. You're not going to hear fighters getting paid on the back end. You're not going to hear fighters being taken from a promotion. That's it. That's over. It's going to be over. It goes on to say TKO will serve as a managing partner, providing day-to-day operational expertise, management, and oversight of the promotion, with executive leadership anchored by UFC President and CEO Dana White and WWE President and TKO board member Nick Khan. Okay? Sailor has played a pivotal role in promoting and delivering some of the biggest international boxing events in recent years, including Terrence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov in Los Angeles and Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium, which set a new UK attendance record. A public investment fund, PIF, company, Sailor is also lead sponsor of Newcastle. Also, let's keep it going. Next document to pay attention to, right? It said United Football Club has delivered projects such as Riyadh Winter Wonder Formula E and Italian Super Cup. It talks about the partnership between Turki Alalshikh, Sailor TKO will turn the page on a new chapter in boxing history. Together, we will elevate the sport to new heights and redefine a fan experience for a worldwide audience. The promotion will create a sustainable future for boxing. Sustainable, y'all. They in it for the long run. They're in this for the long run. For a sustainable future for boxing and reinforcement, Sailor's position as a powerhouse, y'all, in global sports and entertainment. Look, they consider they're calling themselves a powerhouse. When have you ever heard someone call a promotion in the U.S. a powerhouse? And then you're talking about joint forces. You know how dangerous that is? Joint forces. You have some heavy hitters. Boxing is not about to turn into the WWE, Jack. Just because they're working together for different, perspectives of entertainment value. Boxing has nothing to do with boxers coming out and getting on the top rope. I'm not saying that's what you think, but they're working together because of parent companies. If you look at Endeavor, if you look at the WWE and how TKO is the parent company of the UFC, in that perspective, just because they're working together with the president of the WWE, all these heavy hitters are working together for this change to happen. They're all going to have their hand in this transition for boxing from the ground floor up. And they have me start to really snorkel. They have me really start the snorkeling process, man. They just been dabbing their feet in the, just a little bit, get their little toes wet. They have me really start to lock in. They have signed the contract for a multi-year deal, which they're going to start planning process. You notice they're not worried about any money. It goes on to say the new promotion will feature, y'all, pay attention, a highly structured system to develop new talent from around the world, including athlete combines and academics. Okay, academies. Okay, so let's talk about the combines and academies. Once again, WCS talked about the UFC institution going up all around the world. I talked about this years ago, and how boxing has been around before the Ultimate Fighting Championship. The Ultimate Fighting Championship is a promotion, okay? The sport they promote is mixed martial arts. There's certain people that want to talk. They're trying, aimlessly, they're trying to talk this MMA shit, but UFC ain't MMA. The UFC is a promotion. Okay, getting back to the grind. They have developed UFC institutes where boxers go and train, mixed martial artists, Muay Thai. It's a one-stop shop. You know what I'm saying? Boxing, once again, showed its separation in trying to build a sport to a cohesive combat structure so it can reside here in the U.S. But the UFC passed that up. UFC passed them up. So now these academies and combines, it's nothing different than what the UFC's been doing. They used to bring in these young talents into the fold. And they have these qualified fighters, not people who filled out the application. They say, oh, this is what I want to do. No, they have qualified fighters that compete in the sport that's going to be teaching these youngins. It goes on to say access for all boxers to the UFC Performance Institute, the world leading combat sports performance training, research, rehabilitation, and nutrition center, featuring locations in Vegas, Mexico City, and Shanghai, y'all. They have UFC institutes already in place in multiple various locations. Where are the boxing institutes? Fighters have been going to the UFC Institute that pretty much have everything a boxing gym has. But the boxing gyms, you go in there and they're just a low lit, musty smelling, back of a food mart. They're not nowhere close to something that is considered a franchise. That's what you see when you see the UFC Performance Institute. It goes on to say, TKO's production, media, and promotional expertise to deliver both an arena and experience and top-tier, state-of-the-art broadcasts to fans around the world. Fight fans, I'm just putting it out there. They're making changes that you're absolutely going to see. You're going to see these changes. People have been ignoring the UFC training facility, but that's what Terrence Crawford did his pre-camp when he fought Errol Spence. I remember I used to hear boxing fans say, I ain't fucking with the UFC. I don't care. I don't care nothing about no UFC. Why? I just don't like it. They're up there, acting like the UFC is an actual combat sport. Now the UFC has made moves when there could have very well been U.S. boxing promoters to do the same thing Dana White is doing. Dana White has never been considered a promoter. But yeah, he used to dog boxing out. He used to dog out how the ecosystem and the structure and the model doesn't work. And then people criticize Dana. They did. They criticized him in the UFC for the pay. They had an antitrust lawsuit going on for quite some time. It was nasty. It was nasty work. Yes, sir. All these structures, when it comes to combat sports, going to have criticism. But one thing about the UFC, when they had Bellator, UFC was deemed the premier, the top echelon, where you wanted to go to compete. They said that the UFC, Dana White and the Zuffa brothers, the Fertitta brothers, and they was trying to monopolize the sport. Well, what do you think this is about to happen? They about to monopolize boxing. It ain't nothing no one can do about it because the sport has been open-ended for quite some time. They've been jumping turnstiles to get in this bitch for a long time. And now look what happened. They connected with a foreign entity and about to put the sport on lock. And look, they may have to go through some regulations later on. I'm not about to get in that legality struggle, but they're gonna have to go through some regulations if they want to lock it down. But there's really no individuals that's gonna show concern about stopping this. No matter if you're talking about billionaires or whatever, we're talking about individuals who are in some type of industry of entertainment for years, decades. They're coming together to do business. And they're talking about restructuring boxing and doing away with all these freaking titles and what we're used to. One thing I can say about the Ultimate Fighting Championship is that those fighters fight often. They're in constant rotation. Yes, sir. It's fighters. You know how boxing always, I got to have an 8-week training camp. Oh, I got to have an 8-week training camp. Guess what? That's all going to change. It's all going to change. It's all going to change. You have these mixed martial artists that hold a belt. They lose their belt. And Dana allows them sometimes to get an immediate rematch. An immediate rematch to get your belt back. He keeps the process going to allow that individual to fight for a title. Just because you're a champion with losses doesn't mean you lose again. You get put down at the bottom of the ladder like boxing. You have, another part that I love and enjoy about this process is that these individuals that's operating these ranking systems, they're really irrelevant. There's so much flaw and discrepancies and freaking, I would say, fake information as to how the fighter is moved up. You have sanctioning bodies that will move fighters up when you're sleeping at night. And you say, well, hold on. He hasn't fought in 6 months, but yet he's moving up the ranking systems. How is he moving up the ranking system? Do y'all remember the live that I did on Jaron Ennis on how he was moving up the ranking system? He moved up, damn near 1 or 2 spots when he fought that fighter. You know which one I'm talking about that was coming off 2 losses? He was coming off 2 losses, stopped him in 1 round, and he moved up. I was like, he moved up before the fight and after the fight. But anyway, it's not about him. Getting back to the task at hand, this document right here is now highlighting the UFC Performance Institute, where it's going to be that type of facility where you can bring in these fighters either in country or in garrison for whatever tournament that they're going to put together or whatever they're structuring. They're going to have a place to train. Unlike boxing as we know it right now, man, these boxers just show up to any old gym. You know what I'm saying? It's very small. I'm not knocking anybody who has a boxing gym, but there should have been like-minded individuals who have been training these fighters in the sport. They should have connected already. They could have conjoined their forces. You know what I'm saying? They could have got together, put their thoughts, mind, and ideas, and turned on the bulb so boxing can start to grow in the USA for stability, sustainability. But now it's over. It's over. People can say how it's going to benefit all they want. They own some nonsense. Let's move to the next document. Dana White on TKO boxing format. There's zero speculation on the format now. Zero, y'all. There's zero speculation. The best fight, the best. You work your way up the rankings, and once somebody breaks into the top 5, there's no question who the best five guys in the world are in each weight class, and they fight it out. Once somebody holds that belt, you don't need 3 letters in front of the belt. What does that mean, people? They're going after the sanctioned bodies to separate them from being a part of anything that has to do with this new restructuring of the boxing model. Once again, they say we don't need no sanctioning bodies to pay no freaking 3% sanctioning fees and just rob the fighters in broad daylight. Times are changing. Times are changing, y'all. It goes on to say whoever has that belt is the best in the world in that weight class. It's a very simple model, okay? That means there's no speculation as to who's this, that, and the other. Oh, we got a WBA regular champion. Is it David Morrell or David Benavidez? Who's the best? You know what I'm saying? Who's the best now? You got the WBA super, you got the junior super, you got the minor super, you got the name beginner super. You know, who was the champion? You know what I'm saying? They got the franchise, you got the defranchise. Who's the freaking champion, yo? That's going all the way. I love it. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing this bullshit where you know, fight fans are up here talking. They're up here talking about certain champions that never held it back. Ryan Garcia never held nothing but an interim WBC. But people up here, oh, he got a social media following. And guess what? Look how that's going to fare for any one of them boxers with this new model. It's not. It's not going to fare very well at all, yo. Don't nobody want to hear about your IG following when it comes to you being in the rankings in this new TKO promotion. They don't want to hear it. No speculation. You make your way up the rankings, and that's how it is. Dana White intends to bring the UFC model to boxing in his new promotion with Turki Alalshikh. The model is proven to deliver the fights that the fans want to see, y'all. The best will fight the best. The fighters will move up the rankings to become the world champion. The reason why I put this out here, because these two are doing business together. These two have sat down and they have agreed to move forward. Why hasn't this happened in my good old country beneath the nation's colors? Why did Dana White, the president, he's not even, look, I know he has stock in the UFC. Okay, I get it. But Dana White is the president. He's not a promoter. They got matchmakers over there. How could he come into the sport, build up mixed martial arts, expand it out? You know what I'm saying? Expand the sport out on the most premier platform, Ultimate Fighting Championship, and then link up with a foreign entity, Turki Alalshikh, to basically progress forward and change the economics of how we see boxing. They're talking about restructuring the ranking systems. So whoever's in that ranking system, they're going to continue to fight those individuals in the ranking systems. Of course, they're going to be a building process. Okay, everything has to be built soon, some way, shape, or form. The foundation is everything, right? But the crazy part about it is that the UFC is the model that they're building this off of. So it's not like it's starting from scratch. It has the inception on paperwork, but as far as the model already has shown its ability for growth. The UFC has been using this model for growth. It's proven. The only thing, you're bringing a different combat sport, different rules. Okay, they still fighting inside a ring like the mixed martial arts, fight in front of a cage, and then they have rules. Glove sizes, minutes per round, how many rounds you're fighting. They're going to have rules. But ultimately, the rotation of fighters that have an opportunity to be considered the best in a division is going to fall under one title. Okay? It's not going to be just running around like it's freaking recess and shit in middle school and people running with these tags and walking around with these belts. Nah, it's not going to happen. All these secondary, third-dairy, fourth-dairy, fifth-dairy belts, that shit is gone, y'all. That shit is about to be out of here. Let's see how many of y'all complain now. Let's see how many complain now, goddammit. Let's keep it moving. The model, if you're paying attention to the front side, you know what I'm saying? Okay. It says the model is proven to deliver the fights that the fans want to see. White added, the best will fight the best, and the fighters will continue to move up the rankings and become world champion. You ask yourself, why are you refreshing and reiterating and reciprocating and repeating and remediating something that you already read? Because over here as U.S. boxing fans, a lot of our banter and debates and arguments have been about certain fighters who are supposed to, should be fighting other fighters. And the reason why that's not happening is why? Sanctioning bodies, the business of boxing, the promoters that they're signed to, what their resume look like. Do they have a loss or zero? That's all about to disappear. Boom, poof, be gone. That's all about to disappear. Because one thing about the model that Dana White is talking about, where it's not going to be any speculation, is the fact that a lot of mixed martial artists in their community, they don't care about if you have losses or double-digit losses, man, they will call them fighters a legend from who they've been in there with. They give them the utmost respect of who they've been in there fighting. I still think about Rashad Evans when he first entered against Brian, I forgot his name. Dude was super huge than Rashad. And they was coming out the fighter's house, the Ultimate Fighter. And that was a hell of a fight. We talking about Forrest Griffin, how they came out of the Ultimate Fighter house. I mean, it was mega fights. This is not a program that American Fight fans is going to like right off the back. You're going to have to work your tolerance up, because the whole entertainment value of watching these fights is not going to be always, oh, I just can't wait till the main event, the favorite fighter. It's going to be a lot of fighters from different countries that you're unfamiliar with. It said we will continue to make announcements on where you can watch all the rest of the details on the business as we get closer to launch. They're launching, y'all. This is going to be in full of phys ed. White said Alalshikh is the only person he would consider partnering with to work in boxing. Alalshikh is also adamant White is the only person to fix a broken model, coined the phrase the flag of boxing, which White can now lay claim to. I am very happy today, Alalshikh said. I'm very happy today. I give the flag of boxing to the best man who can handle it. We have a tough job now, but I am sure he will delivering to the people and the fans the magnificent league and get boxing great again. Look, who had the flag before over here in the U.S.? Why haven't we designated somebody, some entity, some name over here in the U.S. as having the flag? How can he just come out of the sands of Saudi and say, oh, we're coining the phrase, the flag of boxing? How? You're the president of mixed martial arts. How can Dana get the flag and the promotion haven't even started? TKO promotion haven't even started yet. That just goes to show you. It is some power moves being made that no one over here in the U.S. can stop. No one. Because they can give a damn about getting into boxing and restructuring the sport. They can give a damn about putting their money into it. They have other sports they want to invest in. It's not as technical and complex as the sport of boxing. They came home to roost, huh? You know what I'm saying? I mean, so many times we have been told, right? We've been told so many times, man, that boxing is an open-ended sport where fighters can come from all walks of life. No one wanted to try to push for regulation. No one. Now you have a transition that is about to happen in full speed, HD, right? And no one over here in the U.S. can stop these individuals except different type of legal or legality corners and alleys that they have to go through to like put the little patches on there and zip up a little loose edges. That's all. But as far as their structure, the Ultimate Fighting Championship has proven to be durable, resilient. It's proven to be productive. Fight fans are going to have to sit back and watch it. Just like a lot of new technology that we get used to, this is one of those structures that I don't care how many of you boxers get up here and talk about what you ain't going to do. Hey, you're not going to get paid that money. You better get as much money that you possibly can get, because this cash cow shit is about to go to the motherfucking burn pit. It's about to be in the furnace It's about to smell like a cookout over here. All this dang, all this little common talk, all this complacency that they had over here in boxing, it's done. All this touching M's, you're not going to be able to talk that talk like you did unless you actually up there defending your title. And one thing about the UFC, goddammit, you get a title, you ain't just holding on to that motherfucker fighting no bum ass whoever from some other promotion. No. You're going to have to fight some tough competition, and it's going to be extremely difficult if you're not cut like that to say, oh, I'm just going to take some time off like Lomachenko. It's over, y'all. Over. You're not going to be able to get a title and take some time off unless you are way up there and you done brought the promotion millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Unless your name John Jones in boxing. Unless your name Roy Jones Jr. Unless you're somebody special that have put in the work. I'm pretty sure once, the ship sails, there's going to be some bumpy water, some white cap waves here and there. But ultimately, all you have to do is understand that it's not like this is a brand new system that hasn't been selling before. Yes, it's a brand new system to boxing. When you talk about how, it's going to be built and everything, you're going to have to reformat some things in boxing. We've gotten acclimated and accommodated for so many decades, and it's just changing. So these fighters that's coming to the sport, it's over. Now, the good thing about it, if you're the best, you're going to fight the best. And you're going to get paid what you get paid. And another thing I want to ask Dana. Dana, if you're listening, I want to know if the TKO boxing is going to have a fight kit. Don't steal my stuff now. Don't steal my stuff, because I know how y'all don't like, giving the old guy freaking credit. But I told you, I cover MMA, mixed martial arts too. I wonder if boxing, this is something will be great for the fighters, because they don't, it's going to mess some things up. And nobody, when I tell you nobody has mentioned this, nobody. I want to ask Dana, are these boxers going to have a fight kit? And are they going to continue to be able to use their outside sponsors? Because when the UFC Reebok took over, it canceled out all their collateral sponsors that they had. And then they put them on how you put it? They put them on a leveled or a spreadsheet, depending on whatever formula they used over there in the UFC, on how long they've been in the sport, whatever, and they got paid a certain sponsorship stipend from Reebok when they had it. And then when the Reebok contract expired, then it went over to Venom. So this will really change up and hurt the pockets of these boxers. Boxers, if you're listening, I'm telling you some new shit that you might be in for. I don't know. I haven't heard them say that. But Turkey, Dana, are you going to put them in a TKO fight kit? Because you have the mixed martial arts in a fight kit. Are you going to put them in a fight kit where everybody wears the brand of the trunks and you're no longer able to wear your sponsors on your trunks? Fighters would no longer bring in their own uniform and any of that. You will wear what the promotion gives you as far as your fight kit goes. Now, I know some people, say, God damn, that really makes sense. Yeah, I want to put that on the back end. Okay, since they just talking about TKO. Boxers, you need to understand how that's going to take away the sponsorship money. And you can say, okay, well, that happened with mixed martial arts. Look, Dana White was over there when that happened. The criticism that he gets is because when that took place, all them sponsorships the mixed martial artists had, they went away. They couldn't display those sponsorships. They had to sign a contract, yo. They could no longer bring the banners and throw them over the freaking cage with all those sponsors on there. So just think about the sponsors that these boxers have on their trunks. If they decide, TKO Promotions decide to put you in a fight kit, you might well kiss that money goodbye. And if you get caught, you're going to be in a legal situation. Seriously. Because those who are sponsoring you, they will get sued. Because them sponsors want to see their name out there under the bright lights. And once again, if you look at the mixed martial arts under the UFC, they are wearing the fight kits that the UFC provides for them. I wonder if the TKO promotion is going to provide that. I'm definitely going to ask them that now that the word is out. I want to know. I'm gonna try to find out. I'm pretty sure some people are going to run and try to ask the question. That's all good. But remember where you heard it first. Remember, if these boxers get issued fight kits from a TKO promotion, a parent company of the UFC, oh my goodness, you have no idea. Change, oh change, change, change. Boy. That sponsorship money is gone. You're going to have to do everything by the TKO promotion. And look, you can say, okay, I want to be stubborn, strong will, stay on the outside. I ain't getting a part of that. Hey, you're not going to have any choice. You're going to be on the outside starving, because most of what I'm saying is that the promotions, they're going to be on board with this new model. So you can stay on the outside all you want. It doesn't matter. If they give you fight kits as boxers the first time ever in the sport of boxing, from my understanding, since they're blending common figures of CEO, president, and they're going to model boxing after the Ultimate Fighting Championship, one thing fighters need to pay attention to is that sponsorship money that you're making on the side, if they turn you over to fight kits, you're going to lose that sponsorship money. You will never be able to get sponsorship money again under the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They have sponsorship depending on, right now I think it's still Venom, and they have a certain spreadsheet from how they formulate what you get paid as a stipend. Okay? I mean, hopefully this is somewhat educated you on what to expect when it becomes, when you hear that rumbling, that thunder. You know what I'm saying? This is Turki Alalshikh, Dana White, and Nick Khan over to the far right, the president of WWE. All right. Hey, man, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Shout out to Big Bunch and Boxing in the building. What it do? What it do, man? It's going to be crazy. Look, people don't even want to listen to how this is going down. I know. But look, you don't have to listen to me tell you. It's going to slap you dead in the back of your head soon. And when it comes to all this talking, arguing, and debating, and this, that, and the other, man, I told you all a long time ago, the conversation that boxing fans have is not conversations that mixed martial arts fans have. You all not dictating. Boxers ain't coming over here on lives and talking and trying to make a freaking fight and it happen. If they go into this new structure, it is done. It don't matter who panel you come on. You're going to be under one name, one promotion, one canopy. You're not going to be up here, talking a fight, and then they say, oh, let's put this fight together. It's not going to happen like that unless you're in the rankings. You're not going to be ranked number 20th and say, I want to call out number 3. You got to work your way up there. Now, what about the pay? Your pay going to change. Your pay going to change, man. Change is coming. Your pay is going to change whether you like it or not. The chains have been broken for quite some time that has kept boxing on a carousel of disbelief, disappointment. You know what I'm saying? Just heartbreak, anxiety. That's what them chains have been keeping boxing. Boxing has been going around in a circle using the same model forever and a day. People talking about, oh, the best, he's ducking. You ain't gonna be able to use that no more. Once this model take place, you're not gonna be able to use the ducking consignment. The ducking consignment, in a lot of ways, is going to become a clandestine term, because they're going to put these fighters in rotation on the ranking system, and they're going to fight. If you ain't going to fight, then you're going to get relieved from the promotion. You ain't going to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to put food on your table. You're not going to be able to sit up here and pick and choose. All these youngins that you see, they're about to be a part of this whole movement. It's just like me being born when there's no social media and transition over to social media. These boxers are about to experience some similarities to that. It's not going to be as drastic, okay? But it's going to be heartfelt. You're going to feel the temperature change. Real talk. You're going to feel the temperature change. The money that you getting, you think you're going to go there? Hell no. You think you're going to sit up here and look, another thing these boxers going to have to realize. You think you're going to sit up here and talk shit? No, you're going to have to damn censor you're going to have to be censored. You're going to have some tack buried, just like they do in Turki Alalshikh. Do you hear anybody complain about Turki Alalshikh? No. But we were so used to it over here in the U.S., right? You think you're going to talk about Dana White and badmouth the shit out of him? Please, man. Please. Oh, the way these fighters just dog promoters out verbally. You have no idea. I like to change. You know what I'm saying? Because a huge part of conveying freaking narratives over here on the social media spectrum is arguments. It seems like boxing fans are never happy. Have you really paid attention to that? Like, these boxing fans over here are really never happy with anything that happens in boxing. Like, you can have an entire fight card. Like, let's just say February 22nd, entire fight card. But then you have something that places a ink blot on the whole entire card. And then people will focus on the ink rather than the overall pen itself. The pen is the fight card. But that pen stayed in place too long, or it was dripping, or it was compromised, and it drops an ink on that one little fight. And that fight ended up being a draw when it should have been a determining winner right there. But, you know, due to controversy, somebody was trying to figure it out. I can't get Hamzat Shiraz that. I don't want to do it. Just left a blemish on that freaking fight. Whereas the main event, Beterbiev and Bivol, it was a hell of a fight. Hell of a fight. Kabayel and Zhang, hell of a fight. But the fight fans will pick something that's not in an honorable type mention and something that's positive. They want to pick something that's full of controversy. So they'll talk about the draw that happened. They'll talk about a fighter who lost. Somebody who's supposed to win and got stopped. It's been like that for the longest of time, man. You know, so hopefully this freaking change clears a lot of that shit up. That's what I'm hoping. Because more times than often, when it comes to just general conversation, there's more outcry of something that happened in the sport of boxing that we just witnessed, that we believe what's supposed to have happened was clear, straight to the point, but The results and the the results wasn't the way it's supposed to be. Clearly, there was an objective. Clearly, there was an action taken on that objection. I object to a fighter taking a knee and the referee not calling a knockdown. I object. But being that it went off the way it did, and the fight concluded, and they said it was a draw, you have individuals who are in an uproar. Once again, boxing fans are in an uproar, y'all. Forget every other fight that was on the card. They're on an uproar with this one fight. And then they'll go a whole freaking month talking about that one fight until it's something else that closes their interest. Yes, yeah. I don't have to play closing costs on this, do I? Okay, cool. Can I do one final walkthrough? Because I'm gonna be talking about this for 2 months. I can? Okay, cool. They want to finish all the paperwork, closing costs and everything on something new. And then they'll forget about it a little bit, and then they'll go back to it. Hey, you want to take a drive back to the old residence just to see how it is? They keeping the grass cut and all that. I haven't been over there in a minute now. What you think? No, I ain't trying to go with that motherfucker. I'm just saying. You ever notice boxing fans are extremely mad all the time? And they're mad because a fighter that's not their favorite fighter did something that they didn't approve of. Just imagine if they would take the opportunity to speak grand about their favorite fighter, brag on him, on her or him, brag on him, just be extremely braggadocious. But they always talking about what another fighter that they don't like didn't do. They stay extremely tempered. You know what I'm saying? Heated, short of breath, man. All the fucking time. Like they say I rock with boxing. I'm a hardcore fan, but you always debating and talking about shit that make you angry. So when the new model comes out, I think a lot of y'all cats are going to be very, very depressed, bro. Because all the little signature type of angles that you use on these damn live streams, it's gonna be done. The only thing you're gonna be able to talk about is performance. You're not gonna be able to talk about shit. Like you're gonna have an influence on this fighter fighting that fighter. If they go on the one belt, one name, one division, one belt, one name, one division, y'all are done. It's not gonna be no WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO. Sometimes IBO. And then in between that, you have the regulars. Secondaries, thirdaries, and the sixth. Yeah. The international, intercontinental, the golden belt, silver belt, bronze belt. They're talking about doing away. Eradicating. Jettison all of them. Discarding them in the trash, yo. They're about to go to war with the sanctioning bodies, yo, to phase them out. Boy, what you think Mauricio Suleiman is going to do about something? I mean, I'm curious to get educated on what type of weaponry, when it comes to paperwork, is the sanctioning bodies attached to. Like, I want to know what. Is there some type of policy? Is it some type of mandate, that has been written? Like, the sport isn't regulated, but I really want to know about the legality, the legal premise of sanctioned bodies being in the sport of boxing. Can they just be phased out by a new promotion? I'm curious, because boxers, they will have to vacate the titles, of course, but boxers, no. sanctioned bodies aren't stepsisters to the motherfucking promotions. But there is a connection. I think it's more so adoption, right? They were espoused over time. Is some type of connection there with the sanctioning bodies in order for the fighters the fight for their title, and they have to pay 3%. So it is some paperwork, okay? And it's probably some paperwork that they have to legally. I don't know if it's going to be something legal because I'm still learning, what could possibly go wrong with the transition process. Like if TKO is his own promotion, a promotion doesn't have to really entertain sanctioning bodies. Now, when it comes to the fighters, of course, the fighters, managers, that's still going to be in place, I believe. Yeah. So when it comes to TKO promotion and being placed in the rankings, if you are a current champion, I wonder, this is another part that hasn't been mentioned out there. I'll put it out there. No, I'm just going to save it. I'm not going to put all my pieces to the puzzle out there just yet. I'm going to save that shit because, Cass will be. They'll reuse your shit and won't even goddamn cite you on it. It's something else that just came to mind with this too. That's gonna be a whole nother live. I'm gonna say that for a whole nother live. That in itself, yeah, peeling back the layers of this whole transition is gonna be incredibly interesting, very mysterious, very time consuming. The sanctioned body is definitely going to be at a point where it's not even any speculation, y'all. They will not be a part of the TKO promotion. That is their whole process. And one of the steps they're trying to take is to say, no longer will we have to speculate on who's the best fighter. So that means they're abolishing. This is going to be the abolishment of freaking sanctioning bodies and all that shit. All the belts. It's going to be one freaking belt, man. Yeah, that live is going to be great. Yeah. I can't wait to do that other live. Just like the fight kit. There's another layer to this too that I'm curious to know if it's going to be a part. That's a very interesting topic to preclude. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. The fight kit is very interesting because that'll be different seeing boxers come in there with the TKO fight kit. That's the parent company of the UFC. They have to basically grandfather that uniform change. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to go all the way there, Dana, you got to implement the uniform change. That means the boxers coming there with trousers on. Trunks, I mean. Sponsored by the TKO promotions, bro. It's not going to be from any old body. A lot of the cats, and I know you. I know who you are that's making these uniforms. You damn near going to be working on the regional levels. If this takes place and they put a fight kit on there, oh my God, they're going to be working for regional fighters, bro. Because if they get them fighters kit, it's not going to be a time in God's green earth that they ever going to don a pair of trunks when they're signed with the TKO promotions and walk in that ring with their own trunks and sponsors. It's over. It's over, man. They're coming home to roost, man. That's all I'm saying. They coming home to roost. Ooh, God damn, they coming home to roost. I thought Turkey was doing fine putting up the bag for big cards and big matchups in Riyadh. A new promotional company headed by Dana White seems like a lot to me. We're going to see. It is a lot, bro. It is a lot. Of course, you're right. There's a huge task. That's a huge undertaking, bro. But you're talking about somebody. Look, Andrew. You're talking about a president of the UFC and what they went through from not even having weight classes and time limits. Really structured like that per round back in the day, and to get to where they were now to get sanctioned. I mean, they didn't even want to see them on TV. Look at the BKFC. But sticking to Dana, right? He's a part of the UFC and slap fighting. So this right here, he understands the business model because it's already in place over there at the UFC. It's already in place, man. You know what? I want to hear what whoever has to say about this. Because I thought about, man, it's a whole nother layer that I thought about right now. Outside of the fight kits, bro. Outside of the fight kits, the other one, it's going to be extremely interesting. If they make these fighters put on fight kits, that means the trunks is going to be basically distributed by the promotion itself. The attire worn will be a direct stamp and wow. If they produce those fight kits for boxing, it will be the first of its kind, and fighters will no longer be able to wear sponsorships on their trunks. And the trunks are not going to be all different which ways. The trunks is going to be a fit that they have tested, and you're able to move in, and that's going to be it. It's going to be a red corner and a blue corner, goddammit. That's it. Wow, that shit's crazy, yo. The boxing's about to get wild. For real. Boxing's about to get wild, man. Seriously, this is crazy. And it's going to be some people up there that feel some type of way. I get it. But if it doesn't affect your pockets, then why are you so angry? But it's going to be these little small entities that are leeching off, certain commonalities of boxing, such making these outfits and everything, ring walk attire. You about to go out of business if they put fight kits on these fighters. Yeah, you about to go out of business. And then we also, I'm gonna leave that to another live. I'm gonna leave it to another live. I don't want to put all the sauce, as my guy Shab would say. I don't want to give you all the sauce, dog. I don't want to put all the sauce out there now. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to fill up the sauce too quick. It's just my mind is starting to get in rotation. You know what I'm saying? The vortex is spinning. It's a lot of questions that make sense, man, that I want to get answers to. But I don't want to put it all out there just yet. You know what I'm saying? I gave y'all the fight kit. Okay? I told you about the sponsorships. Okay? I told you about that. It makes sense now. If TKO is the parent company, why would you have boxing and you say you're changing the regime? It's not going to just be a change of sanctioning bodies. But I almost guarantee you all, I'm guaranteeing they're going to put these fighters in fight kit, because seeing a boxer in a fight kit says that you have made a change that has never been done in boxing. Besides the whole ecosystem that boxing is about to go through, man, this is whole restructuring. Why wouldn't they do that? They did it for mixed martial arts. That is a multifaceted 8-limb combat sport. We're taking it down to a 2-limb. And you're trying to tell me they're not going to put y'all in TKO gear, attire? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. The ring walk's about to change, bro. Y'all about to be in fight kits. Y'all sponsorship from whoever them sponsors is out there about to go away. It's about to be done. Capiche? Hasta mañana. Kambanwa. It's about to go away, bro. You're no longer going to be wearing the attire. wearing your own attire. You're gonna be wearing their attire, and the sponsorship is not gonna be allowed to alter their trunks. Period. You're not gonna be able to show no form of outside sponsorships. Period. Now you probably won't see this change for another 6 or 7 years, I think. But just think about all the youngins that's in their 20s. They're gonna be creeping up on 31, 32. They signed the documents already. God damn, ain't nobody clicking the link. Y'all silent on this, huh? Silence. Y'all want to work on y'all craft? Y'all want to work on y'all craft right now, huh? Boy, they don't want to talk about it, yo. They don't want to talk about it. I get it, bro. This shit about to change. It's about to change. God damn it. Let me talk about Canelo in the press conference. Ah, man, William Skull had to have a translator. He reminded me of Jermell Charlo, man. I ain't trying to compare blacks to each other, but he wasn't saying too much of anything. He was being very nice. Canelo saying he's going to get his belt. Turki Alalshikh is up here telling him he needs to get that other item, so they can make the September fight. Turkey trying to ensure that he goes in there and Canelo say, I got you, Turkey. You know what I'm saying? I got you. I'm going to beat him. No doubt about it. It's not going to be no upset, no shocker. William Skull is taller than Canelo, of course. I mean, it's a lot of fighters that was tall. Look at Callum Smith. He looked like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in that motherfucker. And then he just stayed up on the ropes with a hot guard. Canelo just punished him to the body. But the press conference, Canelo fans came out. I'm not going to lie. That's one thing about Canelo. He is a fighter who has a very, very solid, I'm talking about solidarity. I'm talking about solid fan base. You know what I'm saying? Not every Mexican is a fan of Canelo, but there's a lot of Mexicans and Hispanic fans that's a fan of Canelo. And they was all up in New York. You know what I'm saying? It was quite different than looking at that freaking Fatal Fury with all them other people up there, Ryan Garcia, T.O., you know what I'm saying? Devin. I mean, totally different press conference when it came to the crowd. The crowd responded, when Canelo and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's typical Canelo press conference, man. He owns the room. The fans showed him love. So, I mean, it was kind of boring to me. I ain't gonna lie. It was kind of boring press conference. Canelo said, Skull, you brought your bitch with you. I'm pretty sure he wasn't actually talking about his girl, but he was talking about somebody else over there. How men would call other trainers or whatever a bitch because something happened or whatever the case may be that they don't like. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know what this is about. I don't know what that's about, but I hope they get it together. But hey, man, shout out to the House of Chat and MF and Gang. Y'all don't want to talk no boxing. I guess y'all don't care about change. I get it. I don't know how it will play out, but overall, I think change is good. The boxing formula the last 10 to 15 years has been stagnant. And that's why we at where we at, man, because, they have UFC training institutes that have been built for years now that even boxers attend. Boxers go there and train. Why hasn't that been the case for boxing in general? Because everybody selected to stay apart. Now you have three entities, Dana White, Turki Alalshikh, and Nick Khan, that's joining forces, and that shit could have happened over here. They're joining forces to pretty much start a whole nother promotion, bro. Even though TKO Promotions is the parent company of the UFC and WWE, you know, I mean, it could have happened, bro. It could have happened. I'm not going to lie to you. It could have happened. But the good thing about it gives us more to talk about at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely going to be some significant changes that's going to affect boxers, both good and bad. Seriously. You know, from what we've been used to for so long, even the fighters, it's about to go away forever, because it's no way that it's gonna all revert back to itself. Like I heard somebody say that, yeah, Turki Alalshikh, he's putting on these fights, but what happened if this your answer right here? He's not. He's in it to get the ball rolling, but now he's gonna be behind and also a co-op, a cohort, whatever, to this TKO boxing. He is a primary player in the trio. So he's definitely, along with Dana White and Nick Khan, they're going to have say-so in a model that's already been structured. I mean, Turki Alalshikh is already talking about doing a Grand Prix. 41 countries, 4 divisions. I mean, that's a lot of freaking fighters. And these are going to be up-and-coming fighters that's going to be in this Grand Prix. And then, not to mention, I forgot if there's going to be a cash prize at the end. Of course, it's probably going to be a trophy, you know what I'm saying, or something. I'm not sure if it's going to be a belt or a custom-made belt. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a trophy and hopefully some money. You know, get these fighters. Why go through a whole Grand Prix and don't get a cash prize at the end? And I mentioned this the other night. It'll be great if this new TKO promotion can give another incentive like the UFC does. I'm bringing all this shit up, man. And, you know, matter of fact, I'm gonna leave that to another live. I'm just thinking about all the incentives that the UFC promotion has for their fight cards outside of what we may potentially see with TKO, because TKO is a promotion that is following the same model of the UFC. So some of those little incentives that they have, it has to bleed over to the new promotion. That's all. But y'all hold it down, man. Shout out to the House Chat and MFN Gang. Continue to support the channel, and we should do it again, man. Apologies for the what they call it, the void earlier in the live. You know, got a phone call. My bad. My fault. But y'all hold it down. Peace. I'm out.